Infinity War comes out this month. Excitement is in the air. I wanted to take most of this month to talk about the MCU and some of its highs and lows. Let's start with the highs. Iron Man came out 10 years ago and kickstarted the MCU. It was exciting and fresh, but Iron Man's success had some negative effects towards the other Phase 1 films. Iron Man shaped the other films in terms of the tone, heroes, villains, and characterization. Iron Man showed another option for comic book movies in the modern age. Fun. The Dark Knight trilogy was on its way by then, but they focused on the serious side of comic book movies. Iron Man had the serious and matched it with the fun, lightheartedness that would become the staple for the tone of the other MCU films. This tone is still used today, with varying degrees of serious to fun. For example, Age of Ultron is more serious than the first Avengers.
I'm bringing the party to you.
I don't see how that's a party.
Thor is more serious than Ragnarok.
Doug! Oh, no, Doug's dead.
But all four of these films have comedy. The purpose of the comedy isn't just for levity. It adds a human element to these movies. More on that later. Iron Man is clearly the hero of, well, Iron Man. But he gets help from people without powers. This is used in the other Phase 1 films. Pepper, Happy, Betty, kind of. Jane and her crew mostly just sit around. There's Peggy and Coulson. They all help out the hero in some way. This humanizes the hero and shows they can't do everything. More on this later. Iron Man also established the type of villains we saw in Phase 1 of the MCU. The hero, but the opposite. Abomination, Whiplash, Loki, Red Skull. All of these have similar powers to the hero. They're just evil. Recently, the villains have branched out and gotten better, but Iron Man's success was fully capitalized on by following what made it work. Ironmonger is one of the stronger villains in Phase 1, not just because he's the opposite of Tony, but because of his connection to Tony.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave! With a box of scraps!
More on this later. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this. Iron Man's biggest accomplishment is the characters. We meet Tony Stark and he has a very nice arc, started in this film and continues through the rest of the films. He starts at the top of his game. Something happens, and then the superheroing starts to happen. This is basically the same plot for the other Phase 1 films, though. Hulk starts without an incident. Stuff happens, he hulks out. Thor is top of his game, gets banished, though, and superhero stuff begins. Cap starts off okay. He gets noticed by scientists. Superhero time! I'm sorry if I sound a little negative. This is a serious accomplishment for this franchise. We focus on Tony as a human. We get to learn about him before and after the cave incident. We learn about his friends and how they react to Tony before and after. This focus on characterization is what makes the MCU work over other cinematic universes. The closest superhero movies to have this focus are the Dark Knight trilogy. In other franchises, the focus is on upcoming movies and cross-promoting their properties. With Marvel, though, we grow with these characters throughout the movies, and that is the MCU's greatest strength. The overall theme of the MCU is taking these people and making them super. All the elements of Iron Man work to establish this theme. The comedy adds a human element. His friends help him out because normal people can't do everything by themselves. And Ironmonger's connection to Tony makes their final battle much more meaningful. These characters are the center of the MCU. Not the crazy action, not the cool costumes, not the cool gadgets and powers. The people are what matter. So when these characters fight the villains, we care. When they fight each other, we get conflicted. Marvel has shown that it is possible to sincerely care about these comic book characters. I think that's a powerful theme to build a universe off of. Iron Man is still considered one of the best films in the MCU, and that's a great way to start a cinematic universe. From the success of Iron Man, Marvel found stable ground to climb to the top of the comic book movie world.
Yeah, I can fly.
Thanks for watching Freeze Frame. My name's Jared, and we hope to see you next time.